truth are.
John McCain favors letting more radicals into America.
I'm saying that there are some refugees that I think we could take into this country.
Who's going to vet these people?
Well, first of all, I vetted a number of them because I know them.
Senator, that radical at Fort Hood was an American citizen, a doctor, and a U.S. Army major. If we can't vet him, how can you possibly claim to vet these refugees? It's time to end the influx of terrorists into America.
Well, if you think this country and our party have been destroyed by establishment and career politicians, you're not alone. Now, there's no doubt John McCain has served this country and this party well. After all, I had a McCain-Palin sticker on my 2008 Chevy Cobalt till the day I sold it. But perhaps it is time for a new face. Meet the candidate that hopes to bring it to you. I welcome Republican U.S. Senate candidate from Arizona, Alex Meluskey. Alex, thanks for being with me.
Thank you, Tomi. Very much appreciated being on today.
Absolutely. Well, anytime I hear someone that's going to challenge a notable face in the party like John McCain, I got to hear what you have to say. So what is it about John McCain that you feel needs a revitalization?
Well, he hasn't really represented Arizona that well for 33 and a half years. I just follow the mindset of a Thomas Jefferson who actually believes that we needed to pull our representation for the people from the people.
Do you think that being in D.C. for so long has changed him?
Well, he was never in the private sector, so to speak, like I've been for the past, well, my whole adult life, working and creating my own business. But John McCain, he's definitely lost touch. I find that the resonating message that I get when I'm going around the state is people say, it's time. He's changed. He's flip-flopped, but it is time.
Do you think that there's something about being in D.C., being around so many bureaucrats, being around so many Democrats, for goodness sakes, that changes a person, that makes them a little bit softer? Maybe if they went home more often, that they might retain that thick skin, that conservative value base?
Well, that's very possible. I know that there might be something in the water there in D.C. that, you know, it is a swamp after all. But I think people go there thinking that it's a hot tub and it's a vacation. But no, John McCain, as I've seen it, has not represented the people of Arizona for a long time. I think he's forgotten that he is to be their voice, not he is to be the only voice. I understand that there's 6.5 million people here in Arizona, and when I'm elected, I need to hear them all. I need to be their microphone, not like John McCain, who's, well, been more of a special interest guy, I think.
I want to talk about some of the issues. We saw that campaign ad there talking about the refugees. That's one of them that I do want to speak about. When John McCain speaks, he does come across sometimes a little bit more lenient on some of the issues that I think a lot of Americans, especially conservative Republican Americans, care about, immigration being one. He used to be pretty staunch on it, but he's getting softer, the refugees being another. How do you think we should solve that epidemic, the problem of the refugees, without being cold-hearted and completely alienating the other side?
Well, it's very simple. If you're talking about the refugees, for example, the Syrian refugees, which John McCain says that he can vet, well, I'll offer you this. I don't believe John McCain can vet them. I don't believe any of us can vet them. If I told you I had a bowl of M&Ms and said, hey, Tommy, have one, would you if one of them were cyanide? No, we cannot vet them. We have allies in the Middle East, such as Jordan, who is willing to take in Syrian refugees. They're a small, poor country with 6 million people, and they've taken in about 1 million refugees. Wouldn't you, if you were under attack, want to go somewhere close by so you could come back, possibly at a later time, and claim your country back, or would you rather go halfway across the world?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I, because I'm an American, would rather be in the United States, but I know very well that we can't be importing all these people in. That's not how this works, and still there are so many Democrats and those on the loving left that believe that countries shouldn't have borders. Brings me to my next issue. You're in Arizona, obviously a state that deals, like we do in Texas and in California, with the immigration issue. How will you tackle that and make sure that we don't have illegal immigrants coming in, committing crimes, and wreaking havoc in communities?
Very simply. My ancestors came through here legally. They came through Ellis Island, and they pledged to our flag, and they followed the rules. Didn't receive any benefits at all. No welfare, nothing. For 5 years, they received nothing except the protection of the United States of America. We need to enforce the rules on the books. I blame our federal government more than anybody else to blame for why we have this problem of illegals in America. need to enforce the rules on the books. Very simple.
I agree with you 100% on that one. It needs to start at the border, and then we have to make realistic examinations of our current problem and the people that are living in the so-called shadows. You claim that you are, a Tea Party conservative. That term has been resurrected by the likes of Ted Cruz and others that are now out of the race. Can you get beyond that label and win as a Tea Party conservative?
Absolutely. People need to remember that, well, maybe certain forms of media like to paint the Tea Party in a negative way, but essentially the Tea Party is fiscal conservatism and limited government. And I'm absolutely about that. I'm all about Ronald Reagan's 3 principles of conservatism, which include being a fiscal conservative. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with the Tea Party if you hold it to the values that they created the Tea Party upon.
Agreed, 100%. But I do think that labels are deadly, and I think that's a big problem for the Republican Party, for the conservative movement in general. Last question, of course, I do have to ask you. You are a Tea Party conservative. I assume you probably align more closely with someone like Ted Cruz. However, it looks like Trump is going to be our presumptive nominee unless something very odd happens. Do you put your support behind him?
He, as the nominee for the Republican Party for the President of the United States, must have my support and all of America's Republican support. If we're to unite, if we're to not have another 4 years of the Obama administration, we must support the Republican nominee.
Amen
Absolutely.
to that. I appreciate you saying that, and I wish more would understand that notion as well. Trump, we're taking a risk. With Hillary, we're not taking a risk because we know exactly what we're going to get, and it's going to be real bad. But Alex, thanks for being with me tonight, and good luck on your race.
Thank you, Tommy. God bless.
Up next, from the Trump claim to respond, how do families